All right, so to make your closure of your box or to have your box hang like this, you're going to need two clips. What I did is I made sure I aligned the two pieces of the side panel of this chipboard here and the side panel of this chipboard down here. I clipped it together just like that. Then I took, and you need a seamstress measuring tape, and you're going to go in at 2 inches on each side, 2 inches, make a mark, and then you're going to take, I use a gross gain piece of ribbon, fold it, crease it in half. It's a 3-inch piece long, and once you have your crease, you're going to lay the crease on top of this little edge here. You're going to put some glue down on both sides like that, and then you'll release it. And now you have a hanging so that your suitcase kind of hangs like that. Then you're going to also, for your inside papers and or fabric, you will be needing a seamstress measuring tape because it's harder with your ruler. But what I do is you want to make sure you leave about 1/8 of an inch on each side. So go in and measure it and make sure you leave 1/8 of an inch on each side. So on this one here, I would go about 1 7/8. I cut it at 2 inches, so I'm going to cut my paper at 1 7/8 inch, so that way I'm away from the edge. Everyone's going to be a little bit different depending on how you aligned everything. So it's very important you measure, measure, measure. Measure once, measure twice to always make sure you have accurate measurements, okay? So I'll be back. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be decorating my suitcase. You'll have a closure that will come in this. See, that should sit right snug just like that. And your closure will go right in there to close your suitcase. But as you can see, it should all... Well, stuff on my desk, but it should all line up perfectly snug, okay? And then all we have to do is come back, decorate it, add little pretty stuff in it, and make it a traveling suitcase, okay? All right, so the next step that we're going to do is we're going to distress our box or our suitcase with vintage photos, and I'm using a dabber, and I'm just going to go around the edges just to give it a really distressed look so that when we start to apply our paper, it kind of looks like it's really old and not as paper as it appears. So let's go around and carefully distress it with your dabber. And I put a lot of ink in here so that I don't have to keep re-inking it. You can tell. Just do that. Inside and out, and it gives it really, and I love the effects of the craft paper has. It gives it a really old, when you put the vintage photos distress ink on it, it makes it really old. It makes it look like it's wood. That's what I love about it. Looks like like distressed wood. That's what it looks like, distressed wood. So you want to make sure you get that really good around, especially around those edges. And this part here, you can distress it before you put your little closing hinge there. That's not a problem. And once you have this, and you can start kind of figuring out what papers you want to use. Just remember to not to put the paper until you have everything done and installed. That's important. Don't try to get ahead of yourself, because if you put the paper down, and you're going to be covering it up with the hinge, and then you're going to be upset with yourself. So just a warning. I know it sounds like, you know, I could have put the paper, especially in the inside, Been there, done that, tried it, doesn't work. Okay. Alright, so we want to get sure, and you guys can't see me, but I have to turn it this way so I can distress the inside as well. And this part, like I said, the distressing part of the chipboard, you can definitely do this part before you glue down. That is not a problem. The problem is when you want to try to put your paper and you can't do that. You can distress this part before you glue down. That's perfectly okay. Okay. I just like to go around everything, make sure it's all done. I go in about a ½ inch probably when I'm doing the distressing part. See, just because I know those are areas that are notorious for being shown. So you want to make sure, and this dabber is perfect for this. I do not. It's perfect stuff for this kind of jobs. So you can see I've distressed it all around, and it's about a ½ inch distress borders. Just make sure you get it really good. You don't want to leave an edge undone because it'll be noticeable. Okay, so you're going to do that inside and out, and then we'll be back for the paper. We have completely now distressed the box inside and out, and the next thing we're going to do is apply our paper. Now, like I said, you can use fabric. I'm going to be using Graphic 45 Portrait of a Lady, which is the new paper that I just received the other day. You can choose to do the exact measurements of the box, so just put your ruler in. Say right here it says 10 1/4 by 6 1/2. Use that, and for the inside I highly recommend you use like your seamstress measuring tape. I went in a little bit smaller just because I'm going to be going ahead and applying some trims around the edges, so it's not really going to be noticed. Okay, so that way I save paper. I've gone ahead and I used vintage photos for my edging on my paper. Now I'm going to take my corner from We Are Memory Keeper. I'm going to use a ½ inch, and I'm going to round off my corners to match the box. Again, this part here, you can take your paper and just before you apply all your goodies on it, you can go ahead and, you know, if you don't have a corner rounder, you can go ahead and use the corner of your chipboard to align it on there. I'm going to use some Scotch Adhesive Quick Dry. I love that. That's my favorite one of all. And for the bottom, I have this one here. And again, I'm using my round corner chomper. And you know, you can take the corners and pencil it out. Trace it on there. Now I'm going to go ahead and take some of my distress ink and go ahead around the edges, because since we've cut them, they no longer have ink, so we need to make sure those have ink. Although, like I said, it's going to have some laces on it, so it's not going to be as noticeable. No one will be looking at it and saying, oh, look at that, she left that out. All right, so I took the bigger portion, I'll put that one aside, and my measurements might be off different from yours. This is 12 inches by 5 3/4 inch. That's going to go in the front, just like so, on my box. I gotta get used to this camera angle. I might be changing that. So that'll go like that. And then I have 2 pieces of that, and then I have 2 pieces of the 6 by 5 3/4. And then for the top, I have 2 pieces of 12 inches by 1 7/8, or 1 3/4. Sorry, 1 3/4. That'll go right around there. And then we'll do the same. Again, I saved paper because I know I'm going to be putting some trims around there. And then for the bottom piece, I cut out a piece that is 10 by 5 3/4. All right, so let's get started. I'll move all this down, and we're going to start. Oh, and I have the 2 side pieces that are 1 3/4 by 6. So I have 2 of those, and they've all been distressed. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and apply this top piece down. And the one thing I like about this glue, it glues really fast. Don't have a lot of wiggle room to move things around, but it does the job very well. And so that is something I truly, truly love about this glue. And I have never had any complaints with it other than it dries really fast. All right, so I'm going to move this over. And this is the front, so it's going to go this way. And I'm just going to carefully align it there. And wiggle it around a little so that it kind of fits in, snugged in there. If I have a baby wipe next to me, in the event something kind of seeps out, I can come in and wipe it up. Okay. Again, I'm not too concerned about, I cleaned it up with my baby wipes. I'm not too concerned about the corners and the edges because I am going to be putting some laces, so it's not going to be as noticeable, ladies. But if you want to make sure it goes all the way to the end, you can do that if you want, okay? But I will be applying some fabric or laces, so that's not really needed. Okay, so I'm going to apply the side corners first. And then I will do this front and the back. The reason I do that is because the side corner will wrap around this piece here that we're going to put down. We're working with a corrugated area, so oops. So when you're working with corrugated, you have to be a little bit more patient with it because it doesn't want to glue in because of the ridges from the corrugated paper. We don't want to lose the shape, so just kind of score it in where you can, carefully. Not score, burnish. Okay. And just go back in. In this corrugated area, you might have to maybe, once you put your trim, it'll come and fall into place because it is corrugated. Just kind of play around it, get it, smooth it in. Okay, but you don't want to lose that shape of the round of the roundness of our box. Okay, so then we're going to do that to the other side again, and we're going to keep doing this until we have this box completely done, ladies. I said this is the first 3D, and And make sure your wordings are in the right direction. You don't want to make sure, like, especially if it has wordings, make sure it's all going in the right direction. Once you have that, go ahead and clean up your glue. And like I said, a lot of this will be nailed down once we get the lace down, okay? So don't be too finicky about this here. You can go in and kind of hit it with your glue gun if you want, if you feel like it's annoying you, like it's annoying me. But don't sweat too much about it, because we're going to be going in with some laces here in a bit. Okay. Alright, so now we're going to take the longer piece, and this will wrap around the front. You see it's going to wrap around there on the, so we'll do that. It's been like a really long time, like I said. Paper. It's something that I have carefully moved around or away from for a while. Just make sure my wordings are the right direction, and make sure you're evened out when it matches up with that other piece there. That's important. Just kind of get it all wrapped around. That's really important that you get it to match up with that other edge, okay? Again, get your wipe it up before it dries in. Okay, there we go. Varnish if you need to. Okay, and press down where you need to. Okay, so that's the front, and then we're going to work on the back part of it. And we will do the same thing for the bottom. We'll do the front, and then we will do the sides, and then, no, we'll do the sides. We'll do the front, the sides, or the sides and then the front, sorry. We'll do the sides, and then we will do the front, because we want that front to wrap around. Again, make sure it has to align with that quarter edge. Make sure it aligns with that piece, and aligns with this piece. And then just kind of run your fingers through and get it to sit in place. You might have to wiggle it a little, but that's all right. Get the glue out of the way. I like to put a lot of glue. I don't like a piece of mine to break apart. So. You can use your snail adhesive. I really don't like using that for these kind of projects, just because if it comes undone in the middle of something, I don't want it. So that's the front, that's the side, and that's the back. Now we're going to do the same thing. We're going to do the sides first, and then we'll do the front and the back, and then we'll do the bottom. We'll be back. Alright, so we have all the outside completely covered with our paper that we've selected. Now we're going to work on the inside of our box, and I have again the Portrait of a Lady by Graphic 45. I'm going to go ahead and distress these edges and measure the inside based on the inside. It's what you're going to be covering or cutting your paper. This one here is about 1 7/8 by or 1 3/4 by 12 inches, and I cut 2 pieces of it, and then I cut 2 smaller pieces to go on the inside. And again, this one I just went, and you can go a little bit bigger if you want, but I will 1 3/4 inch by 12, and then by 6. I got 2 pieces of that for the part here. So we're going to go ahead first with the side piece here, and I'm going to go ahead and use. You're gonna need your bone folder for this because you're going to be doing a lot of burnishing. So we're going to put the side piece first. We're almost there. We're almost done, and all we have left after we're done with all this inside paper is to decorate it and make it pretty. And that is what makes the suitcase such a pretty little thing. So we're going to have these little score tapes. I'm going to go ahead and help myself to remove that. I can grab it. That's what happens when you don't have any nails. Nails aren't long enough. All right. So we're going to go apply this one here. And again, you don't have to be right here. This stuff, the edging, although I'm very picky, it is going to be covered with some GIMP and some other goodies. So don't really sweat about it, okay, ladies? I mean, try to get it as straight as you can possibly get it, but don't, you know, don't really sweat about it. Let's see, I know I have another one here. And I've already put the base down, and I rounded off the corners with the We Are Memory Keepers corner chomper, and I used a 1/2 inch side to do that. Oh, again, forget I have those score tapes there. It helps if you have nails. But I can't put acrylic nails on because then I can't grab anything. I could grab less. So, and then you can use a tweezer, of course. I know you can use a tweezer, but to me, I hate taking out all those tools. There's no me. Less tools, the happier I am. All right, so we are going to press that down, clean up some of the gooey glue mess, burnish. Okay. And then with the side piece, we're going to try to align it as best as we can to that piece. It's a long piece that we have to put down, and it's really thin, so. Alright, so then we're going to match it up with this, and we're going to go to the front. Start off with the front and then work our way to the sides. Making sure it lines up with that side piece on each end. That's important. And then just kind of burnish. Run your fingers through if you need to. Get a good burnish in. Or use your bone folder and burnish it in. Wipe up any extras. Any extra gooey, because you will get some gooeys. All right, and then we'll do the same thing. And this one, just make sure, because we are covering up that ribbon or that piece of trim that we have down for the closure or the hinge, make sure you put plenty. If you have a problem, get your glue gun out and nuke it with that. All right. Again, just make sure. Oh, there's a line, right? Okay. Yeah, it has to go this way. Right? No, up, baby. Sorry. Yeah, let's align it with that side edge paper. Pass your fingers through it if you need to. Get your handy dandy baby wipes. They come in handy, ladies, for these kind of jobs. I always say, paper is a mess. It really, if I think fabric is a mess with the glue webs, yeah, paper is more of a mess, I think. Get into that rounded corner really good. Okay. And kind of burnish what you can, wipe up what you can. It does dry clear. So that is the inside on the top, and now we're going to do the bottom part, and then we'll be back for the decoration part. Alright, so now we are coming down to the decorated part. But before we do that, we need to apply this little latch. And I'm going to go into the center of the middle chipboard piece that we put down, the side piece here on top and the bottom. And that piece was about 9 inches. So we're going to go in about 4.5 inches in, and I'm going to make a little mark so that I know that is where my top piece will go of the latch, this piece here of the latch. And then I'm going to go into the bottom one and do the same thing. Touchy feel. And we're going to go in and do the same, about the same thing, and make a little mark of where this latch should go. Make sure when I seal, yep, it matches up. See that? They both align. They both align. There's a little mark here, and there's the mark there. And then I'm going to take this here, has the center, two little center points right there on the latch in the center. Let's see if I can. I need to change my angle of my camera. I'm not used to this. Right here, there's two little center pieces. So we're going to go into that little center piece, and that's going to be my second center focal point for this. I'm going to go ahead and put some glue here. And carefully align it right smack there in the middle. And then that will be my center piece. Make sure I clean up my glue. All your glue messes, ladies. And then I will use that to latch on, and then that should match up with the bottom piece. Bring that down. It's a lot easier. It should match up. We aligned it properly. It should match up. I can't do it that way, so I have to do it this way. Alright, so if I aligned it right, it'll match up, and it does. So I'm going to go ahead and put some glue on the back of this one. And that top piece latch to it because that helps me keep it aligned. And I will bring it up so that they both match up. That part is kind of like you need to have your hands really well adjusted, I'm telling you. Like, make sure you're not doing anything else. Alright, so then we have our latch put in. Make sure that is well glued in. And then we're going to start, make sure this one's a little bit more glued in. You can put some brads and or pearls to decorate that piece in. Okay, so now we have that going on our suitcase. And I have some laces that I've picked out. Not sure what I want to use yet. But I have this one here that is from Hobby Lobby. Kind of a lacy feel to it because it's a, and I have this one also from Hobby Lobby. So this one kind of covers a latch, so we're going to probably go with this one. And we're going to start in the back probably. Maybe in the front because I can put a bow and cover up the, yeah, we're going to go in the front. We're going to go for it. Because I can put it here and then just kind of wrap it around and then put a bow right there. So that's what we're going to do. So I'm just going to go align it right there, and then we'll be back and we'll put some pretty bows, and you know, you can put some doilies on this box. You can do whatever. And the pocket that I'm going to do inside is probably going to be a pocket doily. All kinds of neat things with this, ladies. So don't be afraid to incorporate your laces into this project. You know me. Or if you just want to use your fabric to decorate it, that is absolutely okay. I just wanted to use this paper because I just got it in. So, no excuses as to why I couldn't use my paper, right? Hey, at least I used it. That's the important part. So I gotta get used to this camera angle, and it's probably gonna end up being changed. To the front. So yeah, we ended up in the front because I'm going to put a bow, not my crazy bows on the front. Okay, you don't see the big old lash there. I'm going to make it a little bit more feminine. Okay. Wrong scissors. Don't want to use paper for fabric. Alright. So that is that one. Not that mess. I'm going to cut this piece of thread here. It's driving me insane. Alright, so now we're going to use, let's get this one out because we didn't use it. So let's just get it out of the way. Okay, so now we're going to use this GIMP that's available at Want2Scrap. And again, we're going to start in the front and work our way to the back. And I'm just going right in on top of that one trim that I just laid down. And I'm trying to stay close to the edge there as much as I can. Just gonna make sure it's all nice and once you have that mechanism in and you start applying things, it starts to get more sturdy. So, and then you'll be looking at it and think, that is chipboard? No way. So you really can't tell the difference. That's just how it is. You really can't. Well, I'm sure you could if you know, but from a distance, you really can't tell it's chipboard. So go around and over. All right. Almost done my gimp here, my Chinese braid. How sad. Okay. So wrap that around. Go to the front now. I like to put a little bead of glue there just to, so when I cut it, it's not fraying up. Okay. Alright, let's get some glue webs out. And then for up here, I'm going to use another one of Want2Scrap's trims. So while that's drying up, I will be back. So we have the gimp or Chinese braid all the way around the outside of it. Now I'm going to take just one trim that I have in my stash, and we're just going to outline on the front and go around to make it really pretty. And it's this one here. And then we're going to slowly move into the inside of this traveling suitcase. Now this is a suitcase that you can use for anything that you have that you want to store. It is functional. You can open it and close it. I've had my other one that I designed for about 3 years. So it's actually a little bit over 3 years. So it's very, very functional. The other one that I made, same style, traveled all the way to Costa Rica and it made it there. So it's highly functional, ladies. Get that in here really good. Really good, seeped in there. I wanted something that's very Victorian to go a little bit with the theme of the paper, and it's a graphic 45 paper, so I just wanted something that was very functional for the theme. All right. So we have that going on in the front right now, as it is. And then I didn't realize, I forgot I had this trim. I don't know why. I think it's when you put things away and you don't know what you have. Just don't know, you know. That's too much for there. Way too much, yeah. Oh yeah, it's too much. Too much for the top. But we have this other one. And I also have a tassel that I want, a floral tassel, and some Want2Scrap bling that we're going to be putting on here. So I'm trying to, no, that's too much. So let's move on to the next stuff that we want to put on. So for the inside, let's go in the inside. So I'm not quite too sure about there. So we're going to use this beautiful trim that Want2Scrap carries. You guys know I love this trim. It's one of my favorite. And we're just going to go around the edges inside. And you can add pockets or whatever you want. And I might have some, what do you call it, doilies. So I might add some doilies for pockets inside. Let's see what doilies I find. Need something big, big. Something functional that we can use for the inside. I think we can use something like this one. And inside we can tuck something there and then just align it. I think that would be pretty. Now let's use this one.